You have your fear, which might become reality. And you have Godzilla, which is reality.
I'm sick of Godzilla.
Wake up, everyone!
There are two things you don't know about the Earth. One is me, and the other is Godzilla.
We're safe now. No human being can understand that. The monsters on Monster Island can understand it.
Whether he returns or not, or is never again seen by human eyes, the things he has taught us remain.
Here we are back, YHS on Monster Island. Man, it feels like we haven't done this forever. I feel like I say that a lot, but Jay, thank you so much for last week. Was it last week or was it 2 weeks ago? I don't know.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, Jay stepped up and I was unavailable. Why was I? Was that my birthday 2 weeks ago? I don't know.
It was your birthday. You had to take it off.
I took that day off. Jay stepped up and put out a great episode. Jay, thank you so much. How are you doing?
Good. And you know what? It's okay because you were celebrating a birthday. And tonight we're talking about a kaiju that we both love who's about to be in a couple days, in like 48 hours or 72. I don't know what day it is. He might be celebrating even a bigger birthday, the big 5-0. So who better to talk about a 50th birthday, a birthday celebration with than the brilliant and beguiling belated birthday boy, the wily wielder of the word bubble. Absolute peace and corn-on-the-cob guns don't phase him at all, and he swears he won't let his body be a host for alien bugs if he dies in a rock climbing fall. He is the man that can only be controlled by the missing action tape number 3, and the only human that Shukra doesn't assign homework. You can call him the chairman of YHS on Monster Island, but don't call him a Mamagons boy. He is Mr. Jacob Walsh.
That was Jay. We can end the show. That was beautiful. Thank you. Hey, are there Mamagon and Chakra? Are there figure? I want a figure. X plus. I want a X plus Mamagon.
I think if you ask or if you see like in Facebook groups or whatever, like most desired figure, it's almost always Mamagon.
How come that's not been made? This is the year to do it. Listen, everybody. This is the year to just do a full wave of those two figures. I want Marusan, I want NECA to come back, I want X Plus, I want everybody to just get on it and make the same figure.
How about Tony Taylor Toys and Crypt Creepers Toys? They can do it, and I can. It can be a Toku Toy Town exclusive.
Wait, that is not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Literally, let's talk when we get done.
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, dude, we're gonna talk about Gigan. But first, we'll do pickups. Do you got any pickups here? Or
Jake, do I have pickups? Oh man,
Good,
I
barely do.
Hey,
also that I just realized what shirt you got on, and that's an amazing shirt. So yeah,
thematic relevance, man. That's all I'm all about. I think one of my not from a volume standpoint. I think I have 5 things. Nope, 6 things. 6 and a little bit, maybe 6 and an eighth of a thing. I know it makes sense in a second, but they're all like big time. They're up in my upper tier of items that I have, so I'm pretty excited about it. But hey, real quick, something that I know you got as well, and I got that wasn't a pickup per se, but I didn't want to send like. I don't even think like saying thanks is enough. Like super duper extra thanks from one of the coolest dudes in the world, but also one of the best kaiju artists around. We got these awesome pins from the great Tom Whalen.
Yeah, we did.
I know it's been a few weeks because of our recording schedule, but dude, like go to his shop and buy this Ultraman and these it was a Mechagodzilla and a Gigan. Gigan, perfect timing too.
Yeah,
some
of them are the Yesterdays. I think if you go to the Yesterdays website, Yesterdays Co. or something the Ultraman like that, one, some of them are Mondo. Like, dude, it was so cool to get that. You know, these came in with a nice little note from him, and it's so cool to have that. And I'm so happy that he's a fan of the show because I've been a fan of his for a long time. And I was like, I had to tell him, I was like, dude, I have almost all of your kaiju posters from, you know, like I have an original drawing of Rodan that I got from him back in the day. Like it makes me happy to know he's listening. It's cool. That's a very cool thing.
I'm literally staring like how when I look out the door that leaves this room, and on the door hanging is that I just got framed, the Escape from New York one that his variant that he just released. I bought from it. I know that's not kaiju related, but I love me some Snake Plissken.
Okay.
And and it's awesome. And then my Ultraman, the foil one that he released last year, I got that one here over to my left. I'm pumped, man. No, Tom Whalen's awesome. And like, dude, thank you so much. These are awesome. Like, these are so cool. I mean, look at that Bimular. I mean, that's just awesome. Anyway, I wanted to say thank you. Yeah, he's one of the best, and you know, one of those guys. It's like, it's just cool to know that he even knows that we exist. Yeah, so these are, like I said, I feel really good about this week because there might not be a ton of them, but like I said, they're all upper tier to me. Like, they're all like ones that I'm like really excited to own and very, 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 very pumped. But I'll start off with the one that's not I say it's an eighth of a pickup just because I got it today and I absolutely love it. But it's a little finger puppet size thing. Though it's not technically a finger puppet. It's actually kind of like an old SD hard plastic one. And I actually bought this from, speaking of Tom Whalen, how he's a legendary artist, one of the pioneers of like kind of selling kaiju and collectibles and stuff and sofubi here in the States, the great Linda Conrad of Chibi Goji Toys. She actually bought this off of her shop. A little finger puppet of Gappa, the Trophibian monster there.
Oh, that's cool.
Prehistoric Planet. Yeah.
I've always liked Gappa. He's a cool dude.
Yeah. And so I don't have any Gappa stuff, but I need to remedy that, but I got this. But onto the bigger pickups. So the first one is really cool because it's one of those that, like, if you know the backstory, and this has been released a handful of times, so it's not an uncommon figure, but it's such a cool backstory that, you know, it was in 1955 after Godzilla's already kind of, you know, was big in Japan, and then obviously going into 55 with Godzilla raids again. So a lot of the manga artists then were like doing their own kind of Godzilla adaptations, and in the Shonen Club, which was like a monthly or weekly boys magazine, they would have different artists and do kind of comic strips. And there was one adaptation that featured a little boy. And one of the episodes featured a little boy and Godzilla, and Godzilla was done totally differently. But, you know, him and his grandfather in this particular episode or issue would try to stop, you know, Godzilla from like rampaging and stuff. And it's a sofubi piece of the boy and that version of Godzilla. And so it's up here, and it's made from Cicaluna, which Cicaluna is the one I got my Death Kappa from. That's the manufacturer. So it's an indie, Japanese indie one. So this is the latest variant. It's a clear green translucent. Here's the Godzilla. And this is just like he is in the manga. And here's the boy in there. So they pair together. And I absolutely love it. And then the box, which I don't have here, it's cool. It's almost like it has like the little, it's almost done like the manga comic strip, and like he's colored in and the rest is black and white. It's so cool. There's a really good article. It's not Toho Kingdom. Oh, I think I wrote it down here. Let me check. No, it is Toho Kingdom. If you go look at Toho Kingdom, and they have a section on the manga collection that ran from 54 to 58, it talks about all of these and all the artists and stuff. And it's really cool. So this one is, it's who is it? Shigeru Segura that does this one. But anyway, it's a beautiful translucent. He's a translucent red. And I don't know. There's just something about it. He actually has his head actually moves like his neck there, so you can kind of add some expression to him. They're awesome. I put this on the shelf, and I'm just like, why has this not been on my shelf earlier?
Jay, that calls to me, especially because that Godzilla looks like, his head looks like an alligator. That's like
100%.
I've never seen this version of Godzilla before. I love the colors on that. I love that's translucent. And also, you speaking about that Death Kappa figure makes me remember that I want that Death Kappa figure.
Well, there's a lot of
cool.
There's a lot of cool color variants of this guy too. This is like one of the more recent ones. And there's some really cool ones, but I was so bummed about that. So the next thing I got, and the other four I can actually do as one kind of package deal, but the next one I got, similar to that, like this is one that, like, how has this not been on my shelf? So Club de Kaiju, the great Jim Cirinella, you know, that's one of the places that I first got a lot of my vinyl, Bandai vinyls back in the day when I was, you know, in the 90s. We've talked about that on there, like, you know, the whole process of mail order and sending money orders to him and stuff like that. So Club de Kaiju did a special, with M1, they have a Club de Kaiju Gorgo. So it's Gorgo and Baby Gorgo. And they've done a handful of releases. They're usually very small production runs, right? There's sometimes 5, there's sometimes 100. I got one. I bought off a seller on one of the Facebook groups. And this one is a hand painted by founder, president, whatever you call him, the man behind M1, Yuji Nishimura. This amazing glow in the dark Gorgo and Baby.
Wow.
I love it. This, if I probably wouldn't have gone with this colorway if it wasn't a Nishimura, but it's beautiful. It's just,
I like it. Yeah. It looks like porcelain. That bluish silver. That's beautiful.
And the back is great. It's wonderful. And this little guy,
I want to touch that, Jay.
We should not cut that piece of audio out and without context. But this almost like I opened this guy first and I was like, this is a US toy.
I was about to say 1, that looks like a US2 toy. 2, it looks like it belongs in like my collection. It's the kind of stuff I collect. That is beautiful, dude.
Yeah.
Congratulations on that. That's a cool pickup, man.
I really love it. And like I said, I've always been like, the Gorgo pieces you see out there and everybody loves them. They just
don't see as much. I've never seen a Gorgo in the wild, but that's
no, you never, that's the point. Like you see like the images and stuff, like people showing them off. Right. And actually I was having a conversation today, right before we got on with Michael Hamilton of Kaiju Ramen. And he has a couple of these. Like he has actually my favorite colorway of one, but he was talking about it and he brought up a good point. He's like, he sees a lot of pictures, but like people aren't letting them go. Like people keep them. This is a piece like you might let go your 17th iteration of Godzilla 1962, right? But you're not releasing your.
But you keep your Gorgo. You're gonna keep your Gorgos, dude. That's a very cool figure. Have you ever seen that? That one. There's a Gorgo poster, and it's one of the original posters where it's just Gorgo's hand coming out of the water. It's like oceans artwork. There's a bunch of ships, and it's just that. It is one of the coolest posters. I love it. I got it on my list to try to find and pick up at some point. So we'll look it up later, but it's very cool.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen that one. If I have, I forgot about it. So basically, it's the same thing. So the next 4 I'll do together. I'll do rapid fire because everybody knows I collect Marusan 350.
Oh my God. Did you get 4 of these in the last?
I got 4 of these. And I have one more on the way. So I'll do the first one that kind of is a standalone, and the other 3 were a package deal. So this is a beautiful, it does glow in the dark a bit, but it's this beautiful marble. It's a blue marble. I think they do a really good job with it. Trying to show here on the camera for those listening on the podcast feed. I apologize. It's a beautiful blue marble Marusan soft vinyl figure. But it's really cool. I actually love the green eyes, which kind of stand out once in the blue. It's really kind of cool. They're more subtle than like gold or red.
Right.
But it just, like I said, it just glows in the white, the ivory parts. But it's a really well done marbling. It's not like we've seen marbles kind of making a big comeback, and you see some that are like overly marbled, right? Like it's almost like it's such a distinct pattern. This one is not. I think it's a little bit more subtle, and I think they pull it off great. There's another variant of him that has like a more of a white head that is like almost exclusively, and so I don't know if they're all going to be a little bit different because they are this Marvel, or if that's like truly like a unique variant. So I don't know. But this is the only one that I've seen. These guys are not super easy to find right now, but that could change. But I love this guy. And then
it's beautiful.
And then the next goes right into Marusan's wheelhouse, and that's glitter. And so I got the red, blue, and it says purple, but it's a very subtle purple, but the red is amazing. Here's the red. And this is not going to be, they have the green and the blue sparkle where it's like a blue vinyl, a green vinyl, and the glitter. This is all clear vinyl, and it's really just the color of the glitter and stuff kind of changing it here. And so it is, it's beautiful. It's gorgeous. And I got the blue one here, which is, I think, my favorite of this bunch. I really love this guy. I think he's great.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, it's this purple one. And depending how you shoot it with the camera, it can look like the disco goji. It can look like the clear. It can even look like the dark crystal, the dark glitter one that I have. But when you put them next together, and I did take a picture of like kind of 3 of them, they're very distinct. But here he is in his glory, because like he's a little darker than the BioGojis.
You can see it a little bit,
Goji. Yeah, and I think it's actually red and I say purple, but I think it's actually red, blue, and I can't tell if that's a silver or like a purple lavender glitter in there, so it's a tricolor. But anyway, with the piercing red eyes, the yellow and red eyes, he went out drinking last night. He's pretty awesome. But he's one that, like, standing alone, like, you don't see much difference, and it is a subtle difference. So that's, when they have you is when you start buying the variants that's just subtly different than another one that you already have. Yeah. So they got me, and I'm really pumped to have those. And I'm up to when the blue sparkle comes in next week, I'll be up at 14, and I think there's 19 out there.
I'm interested to see. I'm interested to see how you're displaying those. You're gonna have to take a picture of all of those together.
Yeah.
We'll post it up on our Twitter page. But I love it. I'm jealous of that collection. Those are all beautiful figures. I got to get on this glitter game, man. I don't have any. Other than that, like Aurora Mechagodzilla that I have, that's kind of there. I don't think there's any glitter in that, is it? It's just like translucent and colorly. Like, I got to get on this glitter game and get something. I need something with glitter in it.
I love it. Yeah, I have one. I'll have one whole row of glitter 89s, and then I have a glitter Titanosaurus. I think that might be it, though.
God, I hope our parents are all proud
Gigan.
of us.
I know, right? I collect giant rubber-suited monsters and glitter for them.
I got 15. Yeah, Mom, I got 15 of the same toys, and she's like, "What's different about?" Well, one's yellow glitter and one's pink glitter. Just like whatever. Yeah, you just mentioned that Gigan. I want that. Are you talking about that Gigan that's coming?
The Marusan, the 50th,
I don't know how, but I want that thing badly.
It's funny because with Marusan, like, I'll typically, when those things launch and stuff, you're gonna pay like a premium, and then like, because there's always the risk that it doesn't, they don't produce a ton, and you just don't get to see them at a lower price. And a lot of these guys, not these particular because they're brand new. These are kind of like a sneak release. Sure. But some of them, like, the price has gone way down on them, and they're like way more affordable. Some of them not so much. The guy, and like I'm obviously out there for Toku Toy Town a lot, like trying to put my feelers out for them. I've seen two, the two that I got, one for me and the one that I sold on Toku Toy Town, and that was like when they initially dropped in January. Yeah, and I haven't seen any.
They're not out there. Yeah,
they
might trickle. It's so new, and it's such a like. It's such a like ooh ah kind of thing where maybe people are just trying to scoop them up right now, but
and it's a Godzilla store exclusive. It's a lucky bag, and they did come out and say they were releasing more. Now, when, where, how, I don't know, but I hope that becomes accessible, because that is a piece that is a signature piece, and a lot of people need to have it. Like, it just is a cool piece. I don't want it to be like one of those $800 figures, Like, this should be something that you should be able to get in and put in your collection, because it's really cool.
When I saw the first ones, the first few, I don't know exactly what the colorways were, but I was like, you know what, this is a cool sculpt, but like the colorways were kind of like, oh, I was like, all right. But that blue one that's coming, the
Night Raid, yeah,
that one, that is such a beautiful color. That will be mine, hopefully.
Probably
not,
I did,
but we'll see.
When you first said that, I was still thinking of like the original 4. No, I forgot the Night Raid one came out. That one has not come out yet. Yeah, that's March 19th or 20th or something. Yeah, it's around the same. I think it's the day before or the same day they drop the new 89 BioGoji. That's the green glitter with the gold glitter spines. Which, I think I'll be getting that one.
You have to.
I know, right? But that Gigan one's awesome. I really do hope they get that out for everybody. Oh man,
me too, man.
But that's it. But I'm super pumped.
Okay, it's good stuff, dude. Those are all impressive pickups, man.
But mostly the Gappa.
Mostly the finger puppet Gappa.
Mostly the $4 one that I got
here. Cool. Well, I got some stuff, man. Since it was my birthday, I'm gonna go ahead and say that all of the kaiju pickups that I have here, I didn't buy any of them. They all came from all my favorite people in life. You, Jess, Craig and Abby, you guys all kind of we'll tell us a shortened version of the story when we get to the certain one, but we'll also start small here. You did send me this came really from small. You, and I appreciate it. But you did send me the world's smallest Biollante figure. Oh, yeah.
Marugacha.
What is this? What is happening? This is a Marusan.
Yeah,
it's just a tiny little Biolante, and I'm gonna open this.
It's their branded gashapon. They call them Marugachas.
Yeah, and I'm gonna open it. I'm gonna open it and hopefully not lose it. It's gonna be fun. I appreciate that, Jay.
I mean, I was laughing so hard about our conversation that we've had both on the show but also offline about US toys, right? And like they're beautiful and they're wonderful, but like it's just it's sometimes it's hard mentally to get over the fact that they're 2.5 inches tall. And so I found what better thing to do than to get a Biollante, your favorite kaiju, 2 inches tall, but also a cool color. I mean, it's really
absurd. It's absurd to me that this has a card, that this has a header card, like,
and it's the official, like the Marusan header, like it's the
normal
one.
That's so absurd. It's great. Thank you for that.
I'm glad you appreciate the little things about those guys. And that's the best part.
So something else you sent me that I think you sent me this because you knew I would have to get the rest of them is I finally now own Singular Point, the Jet Jaguar figure. This is beautiful. I love this. Yeah. I will put this. I forgot about it until right this second, but I did pre-order the Monster Arts.
You did?
Jet Jaguar. I did. I pre-ordered that guy. Cool. So at some point that will. I don't know when that's supposed to come, but
2029
probably. But now I'm gonna have to get the rest of this line. Also, I've always been the kind of guy. This reminds me because there's this giant fucking tag hanging on it. I'm sure we've talked about it on here before, but I have left every tag on. I'm not a person to like rip a tag off. That feels wrong to me. I don't know, but when you have a bunch of figures displayed. And there's all these fucking tags all over the place. I think I got a lot of rearranging that's happening in my house this weekend. A lot of my sofubi's getting moved, and I think I'm gonna rip all of the tags off. I think. Do you take all the tags off when you get something that's like it's like attached? Yeah, I hate
especially at that scale because the Bandai tags are big and like a 6 inch. And
it's as big as the figure.
Yeah, it's clunky. I'm not a tag person. Now here's it. Like I look at it like this: if I get a really cool figure and it has the tag on it, that's great. But I'm not paying an extra 10%, 20% to keep the tag on there.
Yeah,
unless the tag is like artwork that I'm like actually really like.
I'm also not gonna get rid of any of these. You know what I mean? Any of these things I have tags on, I'm not gonna get rid of them. So I do think I'm gonna rip all these tags off and just put them in a drawer. I'll keep them, but
that's what I do with my. That's what I do with my header cards. To be honest,
I hate it, man. Yeah. I hate it. I hate like the cards when it comes in a bag. That's so much better for me. I like that so much better. But I used to keep I used to be the kind of person where if I opened a toy, I kept every box, every package, even like NECA stuff that it does not make. Nobody's ever, that NECA figure is never going to be worth enough money that you're like, oh, I hope I kept the box. But I've always been the kind of person. Sometimes it pays off. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it pays off. Like I do have a couple, a lot of that, not to go too far off brand here, but like when Matty Collector was doing all that Ghostbuster stuff a couple years ago, that all came in like white mailers, and if you have those white mailers, it's worth way more. So but like a NECA box, this kind of shit, it ain't making anything.
No, I'm
just saying, people, I think it's okay to take your tags off, and I think we should have a mass tag exodus. Just get rid of your fucking tags. I
don't even know what I still have tags on. I might have a couple Bandai that like I from the vintage collection, or the Godzilla collection, I should say, that I might have a tag on, but that's not because like I care about it. That's just because I've yet to go take them off. But no, to me, I don't get any enjoyment from it.
I'm looking at my DTOF right now, and I just see fucking tags. It's like, what? That doesn't look good, man. Come on. Cool. So another thing, Jay, you sent me, and I don't exactly know what this is, so I'll lean on you a little bit here. But you got me this cool remote controlled. Now, you did send a note that said the remote control part doesn't work, and that's okay. But
you might can fix it. I don't know.
I don't want to play. I just want to look at it. So this is cool remote control Godzilla. I believe this is 95. It's got the remote attached. It's got a cool little picture of Godzilla on there, but it's just a cute little. It just fits in. It fits in with my collection, my stuff, and I love this. I don't know who makes this, where this came from.
I can't even remember who made it either. Yeah, I don't remember. To be honest with you, I bought that. I was like, this is really cool. Like
Yutaka.
Oh, was it Yutaka? Okay, nice.
It's Yutaka, yeah.
I love Yutaka. They do some cool stuff. I love the they do the Subaraya 100th anniversary finger puppets, and they've done some other really cool stuff. But anyway, they do like a lot of the random kind of like miscellaneous merchandise and toys, and that's a cool one. I just thought you would like the Godzilla himself because I think he's cool, like just a display. But he also, dude, if you don't, you can throw him away. It's okay.
Well,
that wasn't part of your birthday.
I'm not going to throw him away. I'm just like I do like the random merchandise. Like that's something I've always liked better. So yeah, this is cool. It's beautiful, and I like it. So I appreciate you throwing that in. Another thing that you threw in that you had told me, so we talked about this and you were like, oh, I owed you this. You told me and I was like, I completely forgot about it. So whatever. But it's this Bandai Space Godzilla. So this is cool. This is a nice size. Yeah. The only thing that I think is dumb about these figures, and it happens a lot, is this whole like gap that has to happen because of I feel like they can fit. He doesn't fucking turn here anyway. There's not. It's not a point of articulation. I'm gonna like make a little spine to fit in that gap. But dude, I appreciate this. Cool Space Godzilla. You can never. You never have enough Space Godzilla. Never, ever. So
and the colors, I love the colors on it. They really pop. And that's in that original Godzilla collection from 83 to 95. And so that's the last year, the second to last year. The Destroyer line, obviously the last. But I love that one. And that's an 8-inch scale, but then some random ones are a little bit bigger than that. So I love that he's like a little bit bigger than that.
Well, this is bigger than like cool. I got a good bit of Bandai stuff, and I have another Bandai Space Godzilla, and it is not this one. This is bigger. Yeah. This looks better. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah, they did the 6-inch one has been released and then like re-released with like slight paint variations, but that's the only 8-inch scale that they released of Space Godzilla. So that's the original. That's the first Bandai Space Godzilla that was released. That's the main man. Yeah. I love him.
Very cool. Yeah, I love him too. I appreciate it.
Yeah, deceptively big. That tail gets in the way.
He's big, dude. It's fine. So I did get, this is kind of an interesting one that I got. So Jess sent me, for my birthday, Jess got me a Super Nintendo.
That's awesome.
I had been wanting one. She fucking got me one. But with the Super Nintendo, we got this Ultraman Super Nintendo game.
What?
I had never played this in my life.
Yeah, I've never played that.
It's like a fighting game. It's kind of hard.
Yeah.
I've played it a little bit, but yeah, fucking got Ultraman. And not only did we get Ultraman, we got Super Godzilla.
I was about to say, did you get some Super G?
Gotta have the Super Godzilla. Yeah. I had this game as a kid, and I was always so frustrated with it. It's like sort of confusing where you're supposed to walk. It's like, let me just fight monsters. What am I doing? But I love this game. I was super happy to receive this. And what's awesome about getting this game is that I still own the instruction manual from my original Super Godzilla. So I do still have this. Awesome. I've had this the entire time. I lost the Super Nintendo. I lost the game, but I still got the instruction manual. So I'm going to dive into this and read it so I know what the fuck I'm doing in this game.
And that artwork is so iconic. Like that, just like I feel like people of our kind of in our age range, like just like you just know that art.
It's also like kind of famous for having the really weird Godzilla in the end that kind of looks like Space Godzilla. It's like didn't this come out? This came out before Space. Didn't this come out? This predated Space Godzilla, and then in the end you turn into like I forget what he's called, but you basically turn into something that looks like Space Godzilla. He's got the things on it. He's got big spines on his shoulders and shit.
Yeah, I know. We talked about in the in our Space Godzilla episode. What is it called? Is it Atomic Godzilla or something like that? I forgot what it is. Cosmic or whatever.
Is he in here? There's also like a weird. It's just the game's called Super Godzilla. It's Super Godzilla. You turn into Super Godzilla. That's it. There's no picture of Super Godzilla. In the book, but he's insane looking.
Yeah,
cool. All right, we'll move on. I'm very happy.
Good job, Jess. I mean, Jess wins the birthday
dude.
She
knocked it
out of the park.
She did well. So before I show this last one, I guess we need to talk about how this happened. I think we told the first half of this story, right? Did we not? Because I went to it because this happened at this point. This was over a month ago. So we'll do a quick refresh. Like over a month ago, I was in Atlanta. Went to a toy store, Dave's. It's a weird toy store. He's got some kaiju stuff. He's got a lot of weird. He's got some good stuff in there, but prices are all over the place. He's a little unwilling to negotiate. And when I was in there, so from doing this show, we did the Yamada Takaru episode.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And after I did that, I was like, oh, you got all the toys, and I was like, oh, I want these now. After I seen the movie, I was like, I want these, and I knew that Dave had some of them in his store because I'd always, anytime I go, I was like, God, what? I need to watch this. You know, I'd see him in his store and I need to watch them. So now that I'd seen the movie, I was like, you know what? I'm going to go buy all these toys. So I went in, I knew about what they went for. I talked to you. We'd got like, you know, what they're all selling for. Cause he had a couple of them and, they would not sell me the toys. Long story short, Dave wasn't in. There's no prices. The people who work there are all idiots and don't know what they have.
And he was at a bowling tournament. Correct?
He was at a bowling tournament. He would not answer. He would not answer his phone. I offered them more money than they were worth, and I was like, "I promise you, I'll give you more than what they're. Just give me the toys." Yeah. They wouldn't do it. They're like looking on eBay and they're like looking at the wrong stuff, and it's just a bunch of idiots up there. Those toys have been in there for years, and they don't want to sell them. So. Long story short, I'm coming back to Atlanta for a convention 2 weeks ago, like 2 days after my birthday. And my plan is we're going to go back to Dave's and see if Dave's there this time and I can find out about these toys. I get to Craig and Abby's. They have a box for me waiting. It's a birthday box. And in my mind, I'm already like, there's an Orochi in that box. I was like, Craig went back.
Or your new pet alligator.
I kind of knew, yeah. So I opened the box, and in the box, Craig and Abby had bought me the Orochi figure. So I'm like, oh, cool. You went back to Dave's. And he's like, yeah, I went back to Dave's, but that's not the one from Dave's. No. I was like, what? Yeah. So Dave wanted a lot of money for this.
Yeah.
Over twice what it's worth. Over twice what you can just readily get it for.
Yep.
He would not budge. So Craig said,
even with shipping from Japan, over twice.
Yeah. So Craig said, fuck you, Dave. I'll leave. And then what happened basically was you guys worked together. This is your old Orochi, right? Craig bought yours from you because it needed to be a quick turnaround.
It does.
So you just sold Craig yours, and then you bought yourself a new one.
Oh,
right?
Not only did I buy it, it's here. I have it. So
you got him?
Oh yeah, I got him. I from the time that we shipped that off, I'd already after Craig said he wanted, I hit buy because I had
went ahead and did it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because I had like I buy so much stuff, so much inventory. I had like these big giant like dozens of toys, and I just added it to that and hit send and like paid for my shipping. And no, he's already up in my he's at this old place, like
just back where he was.
Same one. Yep. And the funny thing is, I paid I want to say like I got it like almost from the exact same price and everything. He's the same condition, almost exactly like the one that you have. Like I could not tell them apart. Their condition is almost identical. The only thing I'm sad, man, and we talked about it earlier on the show, is I know the one at Dave still had the tag, so maybe the tag was worth that much. I don't know.
Still had the tag that I would have fucking ripped off anyway. So fuck Dave and fuck that tag.
It's like a $300 tag.
I just really appreciate like you guys,
worries, man,
doing the work and like working together. And you guys got me this thing, and he's big and he's impressive, and I'm really happy with him. And this is the best. You know, this all these figures I just showed off is collectively it's the best birthday present ever. So.
Well,
Jay,
it's a little bit of a birthday. Oh no, dude! Hey, and this story is brought to you by TokuToytown.com. No, but it's a birthday present for me too because I just love seeing other people with Yamato Takeru's stuff. It makes me so happy that weird movie is now, getting its tentacles around other people.
Now, one thing I will say is that Dave also had the warrior from the end of the movie. Now, I don't know what that guy goes for. Yeah, I figured he's a fraction of the size of this fucking thing.
Yeah.
Dave had that, and Dave also had, I'll tell the story really quick and then we'll move on. But Dave also had a Zigra figure that I thought I was like, oh, this Zigra looks really cool. He was in a bag and he had a smaller Zigra with him. It was like two figures. And I was like, well, maybe I'll buy this. And he also did not have prices on that and also just didn't want to sell that either. So I was like, cool, fuck this place. Yeah, cool pickups, man. Cool pickups all around. I'm super excited.
And welcome to the Orochi Club.
Dude, I'm in the Orochi Club. But hey, how badly do you want like a disco Orochi?
I know. If they released a glitter, glow in the dark, translucent, whatever, or just even a sofubi form where it's like a wacky color, like just think if that thing was all like neon yellow, it would be amazing.
My God.
I would sell all of my BioGojis and just get nothing but the Orochis. And the Orochi Club sounds like it could be an actual place. Like, yeah,
we're gonna get shirts made. We're gonna get John Yurkeba. John, I know you're listening. We're gonna get Orochi Club shirts made. We're gonna put them in the YHS store, which there are YHS on Monster Island shirts in the YHS. The have some. You know what? I'm trying to
below the collar
plug below the collar. That's it. YHS. You'll find it. It's on there. Go buy those. Cool.
Yeah. That's good, man.
What do we got we got some news or
we have a little bit. I think we have one big one that we can end on, which is relevant to the topic at hand. The birthday of Gigan. But the other thing, like, it was more of kind of like, it's kind of cool to see a lot of those Wonderfest items that we talked about 2 shows ago that are finally kind of hitting the shelves, and you see them like all the X Plus finally now being able to pre-order, whether it's the gigantic Shin, whether it's the Gigan, the Jaguar was already out, or the Gigan Godzilla, the 25 centimeter.
I did pre-order that.
Me too.
Yeah.
And stuff like it's kind of cool, and then of course even on my store, like we've been able to get some of the stuff from Sun Guts and M1 and some of the sofubi items out. I don't know about the model kits as much because I'm just not into that world, but it's just kind of cool. Like they did so many toy reveals there that they're finally getting out there, and I think X Plus. I know everybody's waiting for the Godzilla and the Ebera one to finally come out. That one is going to be the. I hope they don't limit quantities there because I think so many people
I actually passed on the gigantic D for real Shin.
Yeah,
because like I love that thing. You know, we've talked before how neither one of us really want to start collecting D for real figures, but they keep fucking putting out great figures.
Yeah.
And I think the idea of a gigantic different like that whole I love it, but I was like, it's as much as it's as much as a regular X Plus figure or more, and I'm just like waiting. I really want that Ebera Godzilla statue thing, so I was like, I'm gonna hold on. I'm not gonna get this. So I did pass. It hurt, but I passed on it.
I passed on it because for those same reasons, but also like I would just be scared like to walk up here in the middle of the night and that thing being there. I mean, it's 12 inches tall. I mean,
it probably can walk.
I don't know. I mean, if one item would come alive in this room and come and kill me, it will be that thing.
It's actually what was coming off of Shin Godzilla's tail at the end was the D for real figures, and that's its plan is to get into everybody's toy room.
I mean, it's in the best way. It's like off-putting and grotesque and whatever. And it is like I said, it's really like it's crazy because it's a D for real, but it's the size of a I think it's 25 centimeters tall or 24 maybe. So it's huge, and I'm curious to see how it sells. See if they do that with other kaiju. Like I don't know, but I think Shin was a good one to start with.
I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, because they could get real. I mean, that sculpt and like the detail in it is ridiculous.
I wish my Biollante was a gigantic D for real.
I mean, that could be one they do next. They could do a different version of that, Like I really think that's a possibility because they can get really detailed with all of the because that suit itself is so detailed, right? With the flowers and everything and the plant stuff. But anyway, I'm just excited, like I said, to see a lot of this stuff hit and become a reality and not just pictures from a toy show that we don't see for a few years. It's like it's happening a lot quicker than I thought. Yeah,
for sure. I'm excited to see it all.
And the other big news I have before we can talk about the biggest news, or at least I think for us, Super 7. So actually, this is kind of two news items because they had the two. So first, they had the release of the latest reaction, which I want to get your thoughts on. They're redoing the 66 Marusan, the first Godzilla in soft vinyl form, the J-tail. In reaction style, kind of going along with where they started with, Shogun Godzilla is such an iconic Godzilla. This one, it's the first. So I was curious your thoughts on it as somebody that's, I think you represent the Godzilla community as a whole because you like so much about Godzilla, right? Like you like sofubi, but you also like not sofubi stuff as well. Yeah. And I was surprised that this was what they picked. So I was curious your initial thoughts of that toy.
I mean, I like, even after seeing the first reaction they did, and it was based on a toy, it made me wonder like, oh, are all of these going to be based on toys? And I kind of like that. They did show us a couple weeks ago, I think 6 different reactions that are coming. They kind of teased it. But the fact that they're going to kind of keep doing like remakes of classics, I think that is so cool. And I like that they're kind of bringing those, I guarantee you there's so many people in the just toy collecting community and people who maybe collect other Super 7 stuff and are excited that they're jumping into Godzilla stuff, but are probably seeing that new figure and being like, what is that? They're like, that doesn't look like, there's a lot of people who don't know what sofubi is and what it looks like. So I think it's cool. And then especially if you own the figure, like, can you imagine a display where you have however many, say they do 10 like, remakes of classics. So say you got all those and then you also have the sofubi. Like, that's just a cool, that will just look so good. And I know this is a little more of a rare one, but
I think you have to spend a little bit of money on
you might not, people might not have this one, but
they have a lot of reissues of it though. But what you touched on exactly where I was going with it 100%. Like, I love it. Right. Like, I mean, the end. I want anybody that's listening to this, that's a Super 7 junkie, that's a Super 7 fan. I love it. Period. End of sentence. My only concern, because I do think the Shogun Godzilla is just, at least here in the States, like people like know it and recognize it more. I think it's been seen around. Like, I don't know if like they look at that and they're like, holy crap, that is the first Godzilla in soft final form. That's the 66 Marusan. Now will this educate
be lost?
Yeah. And I don't know, like, will this one struggle to will this one sit on the digital shelves, physical shelves, wherever it's at, or not? That's my only concern. I thought this was an interesting one. My gut was that they would actually start, if they did another one, would be like the Imperial Godzilla. I think would be one, would be the kind of the logical next
I guarantee you we get that. I bet
it
you
has
that
to
happens.
happen.
I think though the people who buy reaction figures are the kind of people who are just, they're going to buy them because they're reaction figures. So. And someone who's excited about Godzilla is like, well, I might not know what that is, but I'm just going to get it because that's
for sure
what it is.
I hope so, because it's beautiful. I love it. They did a great job, and I'm excited for it. And then the other one, I mean, we just talked about, I mean, it happened today or yesterday? Was today? The big tease.
I think it was today. Yeah.
The big print tease.
Yeah. So I mean, and especially if they're going to keep going with remaking figures for their reaction line, then I would hope that we're getting maybe realistic sculpts for their Ultimates line, which they did tease today. They posted a photo of like a footprint. It's got Godzilla's, name on the side in Japanese, and it just says coming soon. So coming now, they've said coming soon before. Super 7 is known for kind of taking some time, but they're teasing it. So it was getting to a point where I was wondering if we all hallucinated them saying they were doing Ultimates. Yeah, I was like, maybe that's not actually happening.
If we say it enough, it will happen. If we say it enough, it'll happen.
So long ago that they announced that I was just like, I think we made that up. So, but yeah, they teased it. I'm excited. I'm nervous. I'm so nervous about it, Jay, because I own so far out of Super 7 for their Ultimates lines, I own 3 Super 7 Ultimate figures. Mm-hmm. They're all 3 the same exact figure. They're just different colorways of the same figure. They're the Toxic Crusader figure they put out. Yeah. I do have some of their Ninja Turtles on pre-order, but I don't have them in hand yet. But I've seen some in person, and they're beautiful figures. Like Super 7's Ultimate line is so good that it makes you want to buy stuff that you don't normally buy. And Craig of the Yes Have Some podcast has kind of fallen down that he bought the Disney Ultimate line. There's Simpsons figures now. They're doing a lot. They've done a lot of turtle stuff, but they're just so good. So the fact that I know they're going to be, I've not seen an Ultimate figure where I'm like, oh, it looks like shit. You know what I mean? So the fact that they're going to do this, they usually do their Ultimate lines in waves of 4 figures. You pre-order them. They don't charge you until it ships, but they are $60 a figure. So if they release 4 Godzilla figures and all 4 are just absolute
must-haves,
then you're going to end up paying like $300 by the time you get 4 figures plus shipping, taxes, and all that. And that's a lot of money. And it's like, I don't want that. Part of me is like, I hope they suck. I don't want these, but maybe they're going to be great. And Super 7 is also known for, this is the part that interests me.
Yeah.
Super 7 is known for their waves. When they come out with a wave of 4, they're always weird. They don't they didn't just put out the 4 Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
They'll put out, so I'll to give an example, when they started putting out the Ninja Turtle waves, they would do like 1 turtle in each wave, and the other 3 figures would be like weird figures. They same with like the Simpsons, everything. The Disney stuff, it's like, oh, they're doing that. So if that's the way they go, maybe we get like 1 Godzilla, and then maybe the other 3 monsters are maybe lesser known, or lesser made kaiju. Who knows? That will be cool. I'm excited to see what they're going to do, but it's driving me a little crazy.
Yeah, my money is on a Godzilla, and then I'm going with Mystery Bones of Infant Island. And then I'm going with Godzillasaurus, also underrepresented.
God.
And then I don't know.
Oh, well, the 4th one's just going to be a pack of 3 Dorats.
That won't make anybody mad.
I'll buy it.
Oh, you know what they should do though? Going back to the reaction, I just thought of like a classic toy which would actually be really cool in reaction, and I would be buying it. And I think a lot of people would be like, "That's just awesome." What if they did the Haru Nakajima sofubi, the M1 in the reaction style? That would be really cool.
Dude, I would army build that thing. Yeah, I would just have like 50 of those just lined
up. The
Nakajimas,
yeah.
Oh my God, dude. Like, part of me wants to say, like, there's no way that's not happening. You know what I mean? Like, if you were a toy company and you were like, hey, we're gonna remake on a small scale in plastic so it's easy. We're gonna remake 10 of the most, classic, most iconic sofubi figures. That's in the list.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, so they can do a lot of cool stuff. I'm just curious, and like you said, like the one part I have to keep telling myself is like, it's Super 7, so whenever the Ultimate stuff get released, like not to get too excited because it could be 2 years before anything happens.
Might be a while.
Yeah.
You're definitely, I mean, if anything, you're gonna pre-order it and forget. It's like I have 4 of their Ninja Turtles pre-ordered.
Yeah,
and all 4 are from 4 separate waves.
Oh my God.
None of them have come yet. None of them have started shipping yet. So who fucking knows, dude?
Oh, but yeah. So the last one, I mean, I think we gotta talk about it, because it's Gigan related. But for the 50th anniversary, like they did with Hedorah, they're going to do another short film that through Gemstone, but Toho is licensing and everything. And you'll be able to see it on the Gemstone YouTube channel, just like before.
Yeah.
And it is Godzilla versus Gigan, or sorry, it's G versus G2.
G versus G2. I love that.
And I know, right? And then they did the teaser back in 2019 of G versus G, which is like, I think, the first true peak. But I'd already forgot about that, to be honest with you. But this is like the extended one with the new design. So I got to ask you, Jake, what were your initial thoughts on the new design and this? And I mean, I know you're excited for it, but like, what were your thoughts on the design?
I'm always excited. I think he looks cool. It looks a little like they're embracing the space chicken aspect of it. It's definitely different, man, but it's different, but it is still reminding me of classic Gigan and not Final Wars Gigan, which I don't like as much. So I'm into it, man. Any Gigan. I feel like Gigan he's got to be. It's weird. Gigan feels underused to me. He's in 3 films. He's always felt underused. I know everybody loves him, so I'm just happy to see it, dude.
Yeah. I at first I was a little it was very like almost like the CGI animated type thing, and like I was, like it was so big, right? Like his belly or whatever, like it was like a different odd proportion. But like after the first like initial shock, I started to dig it, because you're right, like he's like alien, and and like you felt like this was an alien cyborg, and that was kind of foghorn leghornish, but it was I don't know, I'm excited. It's not like it's not a design that would have come out of my head. But that's not a bad thing. That's probably a good thing. But like, I'm looking at it, I'm like, I got really jazzed for it. And then like to say like that thing is going to battle Godzilla made it even more intriguing, because I think that's the cool thing. Like it's neat to see Godzilla versus, another badass kaiju, but also seeing Godzilla against some other sort of weird ass thing. Like that's why I think there was always the intrigue of having like, how would Godzilla versus Mechanicon look, right? How would Godzilla versus all these like really weird, goofy looking things? And we're gonna get it, because I think there's that goofy, spacey element to it, and I got really jazzed to see like a badass Godzilla going up against that thing, and then like hopefully Gigan gets his fair share of of shots in there. Like that'd be awesome
for sure. Yeah, I'm excited for it. When do we know when that's going to be coming out? Or
so for Hedorah, they released it on Godzilla Day, November 3rd, right? And so my assumption is that it would be then, but I don't know. I haven't. It might have been released, but when I watched it, I was just assuming, okay, it's going to come out then. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if they're going to do it earlier or not. Beats me, but I'm excited for it.
I want it now, though. I'll tell you that.
Yeah,
I'm just excited to be like, I love this whole short film thing that they're doing.
Me too.
It's very fun, and especially like since we're not getting any Godzilla films right now, there's nothing happening, and just seeing classic versions of Godzilla, it's just, I like it, man. The Hedorah short film is great. So,
well, and
there's nothing bad I can say about it.
Next year, do we get this version of Gigan again, and a Megalon and a Jaguar and everything? I mean, it's the 50th of
next year's going to be.
Whose 50th is it though? Is it Megalons or is it Jaguars? I mean, there could be a battle there.
It's going to be both. It's going to be both, and I can't wait to see the logo because they're both going to be on it. Yeah.
Oh, for sure, 100%. So I'm excited. I'm just glad that Gigan's getting a similar treatment that Hedorah did. I was a little worried because Hedorah has a little bit more pop culture appeal.
Yeah.
But like Gigan, like they're doing a pretty damn good job.
Yeah. Dude, not to get too off track here, but I do want to say this. I don't know if I don't know if this is happening for sure, but this weekend, I'm going to be, not this weekend, next weekend, I'm going to be back in Atlanta for a toy show. And there is a famous theater in Atlanta called the Plaza Theater. I don't know if you've heard of that theater, but they do, they used to do this thing there called the Silver Scream Spook Show. I've never been to that. But I do know that the people who do it are huge kaiju fans, and they would show Godzilla movies at the Plaza Theater. And they're bringing Silver Scream back, and it's gonna happen. It's actually happening the weekend I'm going to be in Atlanta, and the film they are showing is Godzilla versus Hedorah. So
nice.
we're going to try to go. I don't know how it's going to work out. It's kind of a busy weekend already. Got a toy show that day, but I'm hoping to go see that in a theater this weekend or next weekend.
That's amazing. I think that they missed opportunity. We could have done a live show from there. They could.
Hey, you got time? Fly in.
I know. Yeah, it's plenty of time.
2 weeks, week and a half. You got time.
They should accompany it with our episode about the movie after they watch it. It'll be amazing.
I'm just gonna show. I'm gonna show up with a speaker. Yeah. And I'm just gonna like a Bluetooth speaker, and when the movie's out, I'm just gonna start playing our. Be like, hey, we're not done. Listen. Make people stop and listen to us talk. Cool. Is that was that it for the news?
That's it. Really? I mean, there's a few other little things, but I mean that was the big one. It was really the Super 7 stuff, and then the and the Gigan stuff. Yeah.
I will say, Cavity Colors Mechagodzilla Collection is up for sale. I did not order any of these yet. I still might. It's kind of a hard decision, but they're up and they're all great.
I absolutely love some of the designs. I have one issue with Cavity Colors. Like, I don't dig the tie-dye as much. I know you love it and stuff, but I look weird in it.
Well,
they only have black or tie-dye. I'm like, can we get some other colors here? Like,
there's a white one this time. There's a white shirt.
The long sleeve, right? I'm looking at that one. Yeah.
Well, I think there's two. There's a white shirt that has Mechagodzilla like on the pocket. Like it's got his head on the head on the pocket, and then it's got. But I'll tell you what I don't like about that is I don't like shirts where there's a little image on the pocket, and I just want an image on the front. I don't like stuff on the back. The tie-dye thing, I will buy them. They don't bother me. Sometimes I really like them, but it is a fad in all. It's not Cavity Colors thing.
Yeah.
It's all of the companies that are doing t-shirts right now. Somebody did it, and now they all do it, and like. All of the shirts now are tie-dye, and they're fine sometimes, but I have also realized, like, I'll buy it and I'll be like, whoa, this looks cool. But then when I put it on with an outfit, I'm like, oh, it doesn't look great. It never does, but I still buy them because I still think on their own they look good. So
start framing them. Hey, you know what I did? Hey, you know what I did with all my t-shirts? You know what I did with all my old t-shirts? Like that I just either did. Where it's like I basically made a giant. Like I sent off to a company and I had like 40, and I made like the giant like paneled blanket things, and it's awesome. And I was like, I have a blanket that has like it literally has like next to each other. It has like Jurassic Park, Battle Beast, Dino Riders, Godzilla, Ninja Turtles. I'm like, where else are you gonna get that?
Yeah, perfect. There you go.
Nah.
Well, listen, news is done. We don't have any more news. I don't think there's anything else. So we'll just get right into this movie. I mean, we were just talking about Gigan anyway, so we'll just jump right into what is maybe one of a handful of perfect Godzilla movies. I think maybe it's not perfect. Maybe it's not perfect. I don't know, but definitely I'll start off by, when I was a kid, I remember Godzilla vs. Gigan is one of the movies that I found at Kmart on VHS. So I bought it and I watched this shit all the time. And I remember the thing that I remember the most about watching this movie and over, there were two things. There was the blood. I was always like, whoa, what? And when Godzilla and Anguirus talk to each other. Now I remember I had a friend at school who also liked Godzilla movies, and I would let him borrow my VHS tapes. And we would like be in elementary school and walk around being like, "Hey, Godzilla!" Like, because like I remember the voice. He's like, Godzilla's like, "There's something funny going on. You better check." And it's like,
hey, real quick, were you Godzilla or Anguirus?
I was Godzilla.
I'm always Anguirus, so this works. That's why this works out. That's why it works out, man.
But I remember it wasn't until I can't remember when it was that I finally saw like the original Japanese version and realized that it's just like word bubbles, which makes so much more sense that they're just roaring at each other and it's just word bubbles. And I was
and the word bubbles make sense because it ties in with the whole manga aesthetic and like the and what's his name, like I mean it all kind of it works.
God, having them just like talk. Just straight up talking. I remember always being like, why are they talking to each other? The voices are so weird. Oh, but like I said, this is one of the ones that as a kid I watched a lot. And I think the VHS that I had was one of those where it was like, it was 2 tapes. Yep. It was I can't remember what the other one was, but it was just
Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla.
It might have been, yeah. It was just like the 2 of them. So, and I would just watch this one all the time. I loved it. So, it just carried on. I've never wavered on it. It's just always been one of my favorite Godzilla movies. What are your feelings, Jay?
Well, my history with it is similar too. I will go on record as saying I'm fairly confident.
Yeah.
This is the Godzilla movie that in my life I have seen the most. I really think it was because when we were I was probably, I don't know, 6th grade, 7th grade, and we were moving, we were building our new house. And so we already sold our other house, and my mom and my brother was already in college, and my mom and I had to live with my grandparents. And so all of our stuff was in storage. My dad was a pilot, so like he was gone most of the time during the week. Mm-hmm. And so I didn't like have a lot of stuff that I kept out because like we were all kind of crammed into like one room, right? So the only VHS that I had out for that whole time was the Mechagodzilla Gigan 2-pack. The one that came in like the whatever. So literally every night after school, after sports practice or whatever, whether it was football or baseball at the time, I can't remember. Like I would watch one of those 2 movies, and I'd say 9 times out of 10 it was Gigan. And so for that whole period of time, the only thing that I watched, because they didn't even have cable. Like we had cable in like the kitchen, and my grandparents didn't have cable, right? They had like 4 channels, right? And so other than at night on the weekends when we watch British comedies, other than that, like I was literally watching Godzilla versus Gigan. It was like, are you being served? Or Godzilla versus Gigan. And so I've watched it the most, and and the love I had for it as a kid, and it just makes me happy. And as I've watched it a ton as an adult, like it never wavered. It never changed.
Yeah.
To me, it's like, it is truly, and I'm not going to say it's my favorite Godzilla movie of all time,
Same.
but it's, and we've talked about that on many episodes, but like, as far as just like a personal touchstone for me, a sanctuary from the storm of life, whatever you want to call it, Godzilla versus Gigan fills that role. So like, I absolutely adore it, warts and all. In fact, some of the stuff that's so bad, like in it, it's funny, like when you watch films, and for one film, they do something that's bad editing or stupid, and it like adds to the charm. And another film, when it does, you're like, oh, that's so stupid. I can't believe they did that. Like, this is one of those that, like, even the times that it has really sloppy splicing in of stock footage or something like that, it does not matter. Like, it just makes it better. And I don't know why that is, as when we watch films, that some the bad makes it better and some the bad makes it cringy. Like, I don't know. But for me, Godzilla versus Gigan has always been like, it almost can do no wrong, even when it does really bad wrongs. And I don't know, but I love it. I mean, it's so great.
It is. It's got such a weird, like, first of all, God, well, I feel like I just want to jump all around this film.
Well, that's how we always do, man.
You're talking about, so the plot, like, right away is like this guy who's like a cartoonist, and he's drawing, like a manga, and he gets fired because he doesn't have his monsters designed in time. But it's weird that he's just like, okay, so he's going in for another job at this random Children's Land, or is that what it's called? Children's Land.
Yeah, World Children's Land. His girlfriend, the karate master, got him the interview at World Children's Land.
Right. She gets him this interview, and it's so weird. Like, immediately the aliens in this are so dumb, and they're
so dumb.
Immediately they're like giving out. He's like, oh, hey, what's that? Like, his first meeting, he's like, what's that? And they're like, oh, well, we're gonna kill all the kaiju on the planet, and that's how we're gonna achieve peace. That's how we're gonna achieve peace. It's like, hold on, you just don't tell everybody everything right away. They just tell them right away. So we don't have to. I think if anybody's listening to this, we don't have to get into like all the nitty gritty of what's happening in the plot. But one of the things that I think is really interesting about this movie is that King Ghidorah kind of plays like second.
Yeah,
it's weird to watch a movie with King Ghidorah and him not be the main he's just like backup in this.
Yeah, he's like a hired mercenary. Yeah,
he's back, and I would argue that he's playing, third to Gigan and Godzilla Tower. Godzilla Tower does more damage, is more menacing in this film.
He's the tough. We said it on it before. I think he might be the toughest opponent Godzilla ever had. He kicked his butt.
He did.
Yeah. I would say all of that stuff is yes. It's weird seeing King Ghidorah in kind of a supporting role in the the Rogues Gallery, and it's the Godzilla Tower element is just iconic. I mean, how cool is that? I mean,
I love Godzilla Tower.
I think as a kid and even as an adult, the whole concept that this is not Ginkgo Kataka, the lead, is not a soldier. He's not a reporter that has all these connections, investigative journalist. He's not a detective. He's not a mutant. He's nothing. He is truly a manga artist. He's a cartoonist. He's an illustrator. Yeah. And he also I think this is why he makes the film. Like his performance and his kind of just what that character brings to the core of it. Everything is built off of that. It works because of him. And I think it's because he is just a regular dude. And he has some like wisecracking, assholey comments and stuff, but he's also bumbles around and does stupid stuff. Like he, to me, is the most human character we've ever got, because he's like suspicious and this, but he's not he doesn't go in there and beat people up. His girlfriend does that. He doesn't. Yeah. We can all see ourselves in Gingo. It really is I could be I would handle it like that too.
He's very likable. And it's this is not a complaint about, human characters in Godzilla movies, but in some Godzilla films, your human characters are there are times where they're a little less interesting, or they're too silly and you're just okay, well, we're enough of that. This whole cast, the whole human cast here they're all fun. I love all of them. I love, the dude holding him up with a corn cob. It makes me want corn every time I watch it. I love it, dude. I love everybody in this movie. And another thing that I really love about it is that, we've talked before about how Godzilla versus Megalon is top of my list. It's one of my favorite Godzilla films of all time. And it's so silly. It's so silly. Godzilla, Gigan and Megalon in that film they're idiots. They're bumbling, falling over each other.
The Bebop and Rocksteady, yeah.
Exactly. They're not menacing. They're just silly. It's they're just being played with the whole time. Yeah. But what's interesting about that is Gigan is very menacing in this movie. And he is a badass. And it's it's cool to see that two sides, how in his first appearance, he is scary. He's bashing Godzilla's head in. Yeah. There's blood all over the place. Yeah. It's when he's doing that thing where he flies and comes in, and he is. There's a big moment of this movie where you're like, oh fuck, he's badass, and it's just funny seeing that, and then cutting over to Gigan and Godzilla versus Megalon, where he's just getting his arm broke and he's falling over, and it's just I love that they showed kind of there's two sides of him. I love that.
Well, I just viewed it as it's when he's being controlled directly by the cockroaches, by the M Space Hunter Nebulans, versus when he's being just borrowed by the Cetopians. Just he's himself, much better. Yeah. He's no, he needs.
That's so cool. I love that he's got two completely different personalities.
No, and you're right though. It is cool to see him and King Ghidorah and Godzilla Tower, which truthfully, when Godzilla Tower hits Godzilla, that's the closest I think Godzilla comes to dying, in the Showa series. Since except for obviously the first one, it's he just gets his ass kicked by the freaking tower that doesn't move. That laser beam's awesome. But you're right. The whole you talk about all the blood and the violence, and he's a badass. The movie itself is so weird because it's it jumps around from blood splattering on the camera, Angus almost getting his head sawed in half.
Yeah.
The aliens took over the bodies of a kid and a teacher who died in a rock climbing accident, which is not you weren't going to see that in Godzilla's Revenge, right? And then you have that, but then you have the silliness of the talking kaiju and the world's children and the action tapes and like it's just silliness
and talking cockroaches
and talking cockroaches. Oh yeah, forget about that. And just everything. I mean, and
who were kind of right. That's another thing. When you watch this movie, you're like, yeah, they're dumb and they suck and they're trying to take over the world. But then like everything that happened to their planet, and they're like, oh, you got to. Or we wasted our planet, we destroyed it with war and garbage, so we're coming here to take that. I'm like, oh yeah, but they kind of got a point. Like, we are
oh yeah, for sure. No, I mean, hey, if anything can predict the future, it's Godzilla versus Gigan.
I love that visual of just cockroaches trapped under the wreckage of the burning building. It's so
there's so many moments in here like that are just like what, but I mean, like I love the how in the world okay, this is a question for you. I'm glad I have you on here, and this would be one if Tom Whalen was on here, I'd ask him to, as artists, as somebody that obviously that not only are you an award-winning tattoo artist, but obviously you have stuff hanging up at national parks and stuff. I mean, pretty crazy.
Thank you.
How in the world did he draw that entire thing so quickly, or did he already have it drawn beforehand? When the elevator. I was like, when he opens that up and it's all the pictures of them drawn so perfectly and they shoot it.
Right.
That's the question. And then I was like, how dumb are they that they didn't think that they thought those were real people? They weren't even colored in.
Why would you spend the time drawing that, thinking that somebody would think it was real? It's only you see that, and it's a split second. We're like, oh, people. Oh no, that's fake. So it's like you took all that. I think the implication is that he drew that at home and brought it.
Okay, maybe I missed that, but
because it would take a long time. It's life-size people. It's so weird.
I feel like I could just see that like planning committee where they're like, okay, girlfriend, you're gonna beat up all the people. You're a muscle. Corn-cob
she's
man.
Awesome.
Yeah, corn-cob man, you're gonna stay back. You're gonna, make sure everything's good. Maybe he's the explosives guy. Other girl's kind of the leader with her brother that's trapped in there. What are you gonna do, Ginkgo? I can draw. I can draw a picture.
Well, they had to like. I can imagine that they're like, well, we set him up as an artist at the beginning, so that's got to come back. He's got to be
his big thing.
We have to throw in that he's drawn something somewhere.
Yeah,
it's weird.
But here's the thing. The other thing, like, it's like with him too. It's even like, I love the fact that he never beats up anybody. He never becomes like superhuman. He's not an action star. But like, he's also like, he's so clever, and like when they come out, when they run, I think it's the lady, the sister, her brother's trapped in there, where she runs out and she runs into him and he drops the action tape, number 1 or 2, I don't remember, but but he's smart enough to grab it and then like. And then
just tell him the other way. Yeah.
And his weird waves. I mean, he is the what is the line from the chairman? He's I think he's foolish if he wasn't so cunning or something like that. Or
yes,
that line
he
was.
Does have a great.
But I mean,
I also love, and I mean, we have it's in our intro. I love that line. No human being can understand it. The monsters on Monster Island can understand it.
The monsters on Monster Island can understand it. Yes. It's so good. And it's like, well, let's talk about that.
Why can they hear that? Why can they hear that?
It's like, what are they like? You just put these little tapes in, and I mean, the whole action tape thing. It's just
action tape.
It's so amazing. Like it's just like this tape controls the monsters. Boop. I'm like.
I do love the introduction of Gigan and King Ghidorah, where it's like the diamonds, and it's like the diamonds are like pulsing, and then it like explodes into the. I've always wanted to know more about what that is supposed to. I'm always like, well, hold on, are they like trapped in those? What is
that the vessel?
What's the implication? Is Gigan, does he live in a diamond when he's just hanging out? I don't know, but I've always loved that those visuals of that weird pulsing light that just turns into those creatures, and they that weird noise where they just come in. I've always loved that, and I think Gigan has a really cool his flying form is so good looking. Like the silhouette of that, it just looks so very well designed.
Yeah, it looks like aerodynamically sound, and but at least it's like it looks cool, and also like it makes also the buzzsaw thing on his chest. It's the best application of it when he can kind of, like you said, fly over him. And he
exactly. Yeah.
I think that's great.
I think he's got to be based on, if you've ever seen pictures of like a praying mantis when they're like flying, or I think it's got to be sort of based on that, which
sure,
it's pretty cool, man. I just feel like there's something great about what came before. Which movie was before this? Right before this one,
Hedorah
was right before. Right, we were just talking about the thing. It is such a departure from Hedorah.
Oh my gosh,
it's so different. I love it. This is in my top. You know, if I did a top 10, this would be in there. These are the kind of movies I really like. It's fun and it's exciting. There's a little bit of dread here and there. There's fucking blood.
Lots of blood.
Is a great film, dude. I think this is a perfect. Whenever people are asking me, whenever I'm talking to people who are maybe not very versed in Godzilla and they don't really know where to start, Godzilla versus Gigan is one of the, if I give them a handful of films, it's not the first one I tell them to watch, but it's in the list. I'm like, it's in the, 5 or 6. I would be like, start with these. So I love this movie, dude. I'm so excited to see more. I know we got like a little bit of, I feel like just the community, like we're so lucky to have gotten like Singular Point with how weird it was. And I was talking to somebody recently about like just how cool it is that they, use like the Megalon designs in in those creatures and that, and just the fact that we're getting more Gigan, we're going to get a short film. I love him, dude. I like how weird he is. He has like he looks like he's smiling, he's got the weirdest face. And dude, I know I feel so all over the place, but I think we talked about it before, maybe when we had Abby on, but one of the toys that I've always had, that I've had my entire life, is like a bootleg Gigan toy. And I talked about how I thought that it was a different monster and I thought he was going to show up, but like I remember I've always loved that toy, and it's a weird, I think I got it. I think I like won it at a fair or something. Yeah. And there's just something about Gigan's design. He's up there with Megalon to me. And you can tell that like there was some thought. It's just so well designed as a creature. Yeah. One of the best designs, period. And there's no other, like, there's nothing else you can compare it to. That's what I really like. Like, I mean, Godzilla is so iconic, and obviously it's the reason we're doing a podcast like this. But there are other kaiju and creatures that have similar, looks and feels as Godzilla. Like Gigan, to me, I mean, even like Ghidorah, and obviously is a play on Orochi to some degree, and he's also on a dragon. Like, you have a touch point. I think with Gigan, like, there's not anything else that's like him out there. I mean, he's truly unique. Yeah, well, it's hard to design, like, as an artist, it's hard to design something that's completely original looking. And it's not my job to design kaiju, but it's like, should be anything. It's hard to completely make up something out of nothing. And Gigan is so completely original looking. He, like you're just saying, I can't imagine being able to create that. The person who sat down and created that design. I want to see I don't know if there's anything out there, but I wonder if there are early concept designs of him where maybe he looks a little different. I know maybe it's the illustrated Godzilla Encyclopedia, I think, has some concept art of him in it, but he's pretty much just the same. I wonder if there are other versions. I have a book that's like a making of Godzilla versus Biollante book, and there are about 10 pages of like 50 different Biollante designs, and some of them are amazing. But I feel like there's no way that they sat down and just came up with Gigan without going through versions and versions of him, because it's just perfect. It's perfect, and like you said, it doesn't look like any, like, who thinks to put those curves where they are. It's just it's a Gigan is a piece of art. He is a work of art.
Oh, the flow, like you said, the curvatures on from the fins to the belly and the saw to the hook of the sickle arms to the front horn, the kind of the frontal horn there that kind of goes out, like everything. It is a study in design, and I think he is like movie. If you love the movie or not aside, like I mean, you have to appreciate kind of like that is not something that anybody could just go and design. I mean, that is truly, like you said. I've seen there were some original concept art. I'm actually looking up as we were talking.
Okay,
but there's nothing that I would say is different than what actually happened. So I wonder if this is what they went
drastic.
With. Yeah, I think this might have been what they built it off of. He's a little skinnier, but other than that, but there's some Final War stuff.
I was when I was a kid, I was a little confused about Gigan because, they do call him a cyborg, but there's no explanation about that. They just say that. And when you're a kid, I didn't know what a cyborg, I didn't know what that meant. I was like, well, does cyborg mean he's a robot? Is this a robot? I didn't realize that cyborg was like an organic creature that had some sort of, and it's hard to tell. I remember I was always like, why does he got a saw in his, like, how does that work? Like everything, like his little laser beam that doesn't look organic to me. You know what I mean? So I was always confused as a kid. And I mean, even when you watch it as an adult, it's like, there's zero. Like I've seen that there is fan art out there of like the 100% organic Gigan of what maybe he looked like before he had his upgrades. But it's like, hey, I want to read a comic or something about pre-cyborg Gigan and like what is happening here? What happened? It's such a weird concept. Like that's such a weird thing to be like, our character is a cyborg space chicken thing, and we're not going to mention why he's a cyborg or what parts of him. It's hard to tell what part, like, were his hands? Did he used to have actual hands? I don't know. Were they always just big claws? It's hard to tell what's mechanical and what's not.
And how did some giant cockroaches do that? How did they add those up? And I we talked about, it's funny you mentioned that because I agree. I mean, we talked about on our episode where we were talking about like what types of films do we wish we would see in the future and stuff. And we talked about doing the Gigan Final Wars, which is a little bit more kind of on the nose cyborg.
Especially since he changes.
Yeah, I know, right? But seeing the origin story of him, battling Mothra, many millennia ago, like, but even part of that would be how did the organic Gigan turn into, are there more than one? Is this a super weapon, or is this just one of many that the Nebula Space Hunter people are Space Hunter Nebulans are doing? I don't know.
It would be cool if they did a Godzilla film where he fought another kaiju of Gigan's race, but wasn't like, I don't need to, it's like, I don't want to watch a backstory for Gigan. I don't need them to make a movie to show us how Gigan became a cyborg. But like, what if they did another Godzilla film where he fought basically a pre-cyborg version of Gigan, but it's just it's a whole other kaiju. You know what I mean? Just like, I just want to see what they would. It's one of life's big mysteries. Jay.
Hey, what if it's already been solved? What if the two-eyed bootleg that you have, because I believe it has hand claws, right? What if that is the organic form?
Oh my God, it could be.
What if the bootleggers at Imperial or whoever released it actually knew the backstory?
It's got two toes. Yeah. He got a toe on each foot chopped off.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they put a visor on him.
I love that. That's it, man. The visor. Is it a visor or is it just one big eye? I always thought it was just a big eye. Yeah, it could be a visor, though. There could be eyes under there, Jay.
Jordy LaForge's RoboCop. Yeah. No, I thought I always think it's an eye too, but the eye versus something else debate that's for hetero. That's not for this one.
True. Yeah.
No, but I think that would be really cool. But I don't know. It adds to the movie. Like, once again, here's a perfect example. If another movie that wasn't this would have like just said, here's a cyborg, we're not gonna tell you anything about it, why or whatever, like I could get mad about that.
You get upset about it. Yeah.
But this one, like,
you get
it makes it better. It makes it better. And I don't know why. Like I said, it just happens. So, you know, we've obviously been praising it. We both love it. Like, this is not the podcast to listen to if you hate this film, or maybe it is. But there are some obvious common critiques for those, you know, I'll call them just, you know, maybe they're judging a little bit too harshly, but whatever. That's their own prerogative. The number one most, like, I think, repeated and discussed issue is let's just call it the sloppy splicing in of some of the stock footage from Destroy All Monsters. I mean, like Anguirus fights King Ghidorah in the exact same, you know, night today, you know, all that stuff. And my answer to that, because I was like, well, then watch this one first. You know, it's like I you know, I don't know, like it just at the end of the day, like that doesn't bother me. Like I'm not stock footage doesn't bother me. Yes, is it done great? No, but
no,
at the end of the day, like it doesn't. This one doesn't bother me. This film.
Well, it never bothered me because you don't notice that when you're a kid. You know what I mean? Like I was never watching. I remember there's a few movies, and I can't recall if this movie does it, but there are a few times in a couple Godzilla movies where they'll use some stock footage and you'll like catch a glimpse of a monster that's not in the movie. Yeah. And I remember that used to be, I remember when I was a kid, I was like, whoa, who was that? You know, like, but I didn't notice when I was watching this. I was a dumb kid. I didn't realize that they were splicing in footage from the other movie. It wasn't until I got a little older until I was like, oh, that's whenever Godzilla jumps into the water and Godzilla vs. Sea Monster, they use that in 3 other movies, you know? Yeah. But it didn't bother me. And because I think I was so used to seeing it and not knowing by the time I started to figure out what was happening, I just did not care. I was like, oh, it's a Godzilla movie. That's what they do. They splice some of the action sequences. So the thing that got me noticing that was when you would see, it's because Godzilla looks different in every single film. So it's like, I would be like, why did he look like that for that one shot? You know, and that's when I started realizing, oh, that's a part of another movie. I remember being confused, but I just did not care. And I still don't think I do. When I rewatched this movie, 2 weeks ago. And I just, at no point was I was like, oh, that cut sucked. I know that it's sloppy. Yeah. But I don't care. The movie's too good. I just don't care.
It's too good. It's too good. And I would say that, like, to me, what this movie, it overcomes all that because I just think overall the imagery that this movie burns into your head is so it's so 70s, and it's just so different, and it's so fun. But like, I just look at like the visuals. Like when I picture this movie in my head, I see Mamagon and Shukra, right? I see those images. They're so iconic. Like they're just like, bam. I see World Children's Land. Like it is such a cool, I mean, like that is, you don't have that in any other Godzilla film, right? Like you just don't have that kind of cool, like kaiju themed theme park. I mean, that's so cool. And then to your point, like I see the blood splattering and all that type of stuff. And then I see the diamond and the fire kind of in space explosions for the entries of Gigan and Ghidorah. Like they're just so, I mean, even the cockroach, the M Space Hunter Nebulans and their orange jump, like it's so garish, and it's like, like you know those, and you see those guys, and then of course, I mean, Corn-Cob Man is like one of the most, like, it is just the greatest cosplay of all time when people dress up as him. Like, I mean, it is truly like there's just so many great images from this film that I think outweighs any of the flaws, and it just it's one of the most memorable films. When you watch it, you remember those things more so than almost any other film. You just know those scenes and those moments in time, and I think that is what makes it a film that I can watch literally every day.
Yeah, dude. I don't think there's anything better that you could say than what you just did. It's a top tier Godzilla film, and it always will be. And it's all the weird little things. It's got such a great cast of human characters that are like endearing and fun to watch.
Yeah, you root for them, you like them.
You actually like all of them and root for. Yeah, it's just a fun movie, and like, they're like you mentioned it earlier. They're like plan when they are trying to break in to find her brother and everything. It's just all it's fun. It's just all fun.
Yeah.
You want to see it. I love when they're sliding down the rope. It's just all good, man. I don't know what else.
Such
to even say
top line
it.
special effects on that one.
It's perfect. Were there other things that people complain about that you off the top of your head, or
I mean, I think a lot of
anything
people,
worth mentioning?
I mean, it's the stuff that we would find charming. Like, I think some people do talk about the absurdity of the entire plot. To your point, like it's just he goes in there and then it's like
show me a Godzilla plot that's not absurd.
Yeah, I know. Right?
There are some, but the majority are absurd.
Yeah, and I think to me, I think like there are some folks that want their heroes to be the action stars, and that's just obviously not what this one. I think that's what makes. I'm a big believer. That's what makes this strong. And so that's is one. But other than that, I mean, of course, the word bubble / talking. I mean, people. That's one of those moments like the flying or the drop kick. Like that's.
I get that, but to me, the moment I saw the original Japanese version and saw that it was a word bubble, I was like, oh, like that word bubble does not bother me at all because hey, creatures can communicate with each other. Some can, animals can communicate. So I was like. Whenever I was a kid and I thought that they were straight up I remember when I was a kid, I was like, why'd they put that in here? You know, I was like, that was one thing that I criticized the movie for. But the moment I saw the actual Japanese version, I was like, oh, it's just a word bubble. They're not actually talking. So I was like, all right.
Well, I mean, and even to point, animals communicate, but also like, remember, these are enhanced animals due to radiation stuff. So it's not just their physical size and powers, like, you know, maybe their brains obviously develop so they can communicate even more, maybe not talk obviously, but even more kind of like blatantly.
But they're clearly, they're clear. I mean, Godzilla and Jet Jaguar basically have a conversation. They don't speak, but like, I'm like, they're shaking hands.
I know, right? Hey, that's only a year later,
That's a human concept. How do they even know to do that? I don't know, Jay. I don't know, man. I know this might have been a shorter talk on this film, but it's like I just don't think there's too much you can really say. I think it's fun, it's great, it's maybe perfect. Yeah,
I don't look at it as a negative that it's a short one because like here's the thing, like there's other people that probably maybe don't have the same opinion as us, and maybe they're like it's there like, and maybe this gives them the push to watch it again, and maybe they can appreciate some of the silliness and embrace it through there. I really feel like, you know, I listen to and watch people review things, not because of I want them to agree with me or I want them to disagree with me. I want to like maybe look at something through a different lens, right? And to be able to watch it through there. And it's funny, I'll tie it back to, you mentioned it earlier, Godzilla Singular Point. I think when I started watching it, and then when I heard somebody say like, it's a great mystery, like watch it through that as opposed to a kaiju film first. And I rewatched it, or started it again. Actually, I didn't finish it at the time, and watch it as like, this is like watching this as a mystery, a science fiction heavy mystery, and monsters are part of the plot. And it's one of my favorite things that's been done recently, right? It's amazing. So I think it's just like, sometimes I like to hear people that might have a different perspective on how to view something and rewatch. Well,
it helps you look. Yeah, it helps you look at something maybe in a different way, and you just get something different out of it. So.
Yeah. And I mean, I hate people that think they're ever going to change anybody's opinion. That's really just like, hey, here's a subtle way to maybe view something and understand like why we love it. And of course, we all both have the nostalgia factor with this one. We can't deny that, right? But that's nothing wrong with that.
Like everybody who hates it, go back in and watch it from the perspective of that, like, maybe these aliens have a point.
Yeah.
And you'll love it. Yeah. You'll love it, and you'll be sad at the end when they die. And maybe you'll shed a tear when they're saying their goodbye with projected flames over their bodies for special effects. Or I love it, man.
Or rewatch it and just focus and put yourself in the shoes of Genko Kataka and like try to think like, how would, in those same situations that you were put in with him, how would you interact? And it's going to be eerily similar, even kind of the dumb stuff he does from his silly waves to whatever. He's, I don't know. I just think it's amazing. And it's one that, like I said, I can put myself in and watch it all the time, and visually it's stunning and all that good stuff. And it's just one that'll always be in my top one, no matter what. It'll always be in there.
That's where it deserves to be, Jay. Unless you got something else to say on this thing, man, I think that's a wrap on Godzilla versus Gigan.
Oh yeah. And hey, happy birthday to not the big G, but to the other G, another G. There's a lot of them. Gamer might have something to say about that too, and Gappa. I mean, I'm just glad that we're getting a year to celebrate this crazy, wacky kaiju that is just beautiful.
Same, dude. You know, when I was a kid and I was watching this is not something I ever would have thought. When I was a child being obsessive over this movie, I would have never thought when I was in my late 30s, I would be like, cool, where there's going to be a year where they just celebrate Gigan for a year. And there's going to be toys and t-shirts and fucking blue glitter Gigan figures that you're not going to be able to buy. Just all this crazy shit. And it's the best. It's great. It's worth everything. I love it.
See, the world can be good too. It's not all bad news.
The world can be good too, yeah.
But not World Children's Land. That's bad.
Don't go there.
What if they did Fast Pass there?
Well, if there's a Fast Pass, I want to ride Godzilla Tower. Cool. I think we did it, guys. Thanks for listening. Please go leave reviews, but hey, leave 5 stars.
5 stars.
I don't want to see any more of these 1-star reviews. Give us the reviews. Go buy a t-shirt. We do have the Orochi crew coming soon.
I love it.
Thank you, Jay. Thank everybody for listening. See you guys next time.
Adios.